Gamer's Garage.
Just one programming note for those of you that wanted to hear an interview with Paul Brewer, because the World Cyber Games has not yet released its titles. We're going to be airing that interview next week.
Welcome to the sixth round of the Losers Bracket, where we have some interesting topics to discuss.
Why don't we start with the central theme of things that have died? I think that's where we should start. I think the theme of this whole podcast is things that are dead. Why don't we start with the simple one first? For those of you who don't know who Team Pandemic is, that was a pretty well-known PC organization ran by one Chris Lemley. They've been around since 2002. They've had a good 8-year run, but effective March 1st, that's it.
It was kind of a sudden news, wasn't it?
I mean, I guess the question is, what do we think happened? Did the economy get bad and he have to go back to work?
I mean, I don't know, so it's just speculation at this point.
In my opinion, I mean, this might just be because, I had been following what had happened, at least with the rhythm gaming side of things, for a while. I hadn't seen much from them in a while. All their players seemed to have fallen off the map. They had two really well-known players on the scene, one female, one male, Tipper Queen and Priest MLH. Those two just kind of disappeared, and I don't know, maybe, did all their players just kind of fall to the wayward side? It seemed that way to me, and if that's the case, what reason would there be for them to be around?
Right.
I don't know. I mean, they had said something, they're going to retain the brand, like anybody's going to steal their brand, which I thought was funny. Like, we'll be retaining the brand. Well, good, because last I checked, it didn't worth that much anyway, and engaging in new opportunities in the near future. So we'll see.
Baseball.
Maybe that is something interesting. Maybe they'll be selling baseball cards.
I was thinking more like Little League.
You never know.
Coach Lemley, put me in.
I know, right? All right, so let's go to the big news, which is probably Major League Gaming has decided to announce its Pro Circuit details.
Pretty exciting, actually.
They're shitty details, are you not?
It's pretty exciting for people who may have not had a chance to go to these events in the past couple of years. Obviously, big thing coming back is Super Smash Bros. For the Wii, which I believe it was on the Pro Circuit before Gears was. And,
it was indeed.
Yeah, and
yes,
$60,000 in prizes for the whole season. Kind of doesn't really matter when you look at Halo 3's $500,000 season prizes. Just kind of outshadows that one. Tekken 6 for PS3. I truly love this game. I kind of wish they didn't pick it up because I know they're going to kill it. But who knows? Hopefully.
That's so negative. Come on, that's so negative. Who knows? Maybe they'll do something good with it. Who am I kidding?
Well, with the PlayStation 3, that's awful. That's an awful decision right there, PS3.
No, I mean, it's going to be bad for them in the long run because now they're going to have to buy Wiis and PlayStation 3s now. Or no, they had PS3s because of Madden, that's right.
Obviously, Major League Gaming has gone to this format where they have one game on the 360, Halo 3, one game on the PlayStation 3, Tekken 6, and one game on the Wii, and this becomes Super Smash Bros. Melee. I mean, at some level, it seems like what they're trying to do is reach out to different platforms and touch a different demographic. Because they figure, all the different people know who they are. But I don't know if at the end of the day this is the right choice. And let me tell you why I have a sort of slight concern about this. Let's turn the clock back. Let's do a little history lesson here. When Championship Gaming Series was around, they kind of did the same thing, right? They had Counter-Strike, MLG's got Halo, they had Virtual Fighter, this got Tekken 6. I think there's something to be said about what do people want, right? What's really challenging. And I got to be honest with you, you are never going to see me watch or care about, and I mean this, a fighting game or a sports game. And I'm going to tell you why.
There's real sports to watch?
Not only that, I mean, you've got a point there, but I mean, really think about it. Part of the excitement was having 4 people work together, right? That's the part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Teamwork.
Let's be clear that Halo still does that. Let's be clear that they're going to probably, aside from WoW, who knows what the PC side is going to have, because they also are going to have this PC revolution, they call it, which is, wow, very proud of them. They're going to be taking PC gaming to new heights.
Yeah.
So we'll see how high
Good luck.
they're going to take it. But I don't know. Maybe StarCraft 2. Maybe they'll do one of the Counter-Strikes. I mean, I don't know.
Well, if you go backwards for the game selections, you're obviously not taking it to new heights.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe they're going to be like StarCraft. I don't know. But removing Gears didn't seem like the right decision. I think they lost a pretty involved demographic.
I think it's very interesting that in their letter that they sent out to the Gears players, they said, the Gear Pros, I should say, sorry, that they said that they were going to be exploring new genres. And that to me just, it seems almost like a slap in the face when you see them doing things like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 online and, returning to another title they had in the past with Brawl, or Smash Brothers, I should say. It was Melee last time. I don't know, when I see that, I expect them to go into something completely new. I know in the past I've heard them say they didn't want to explore rhythm gaming, but, if they're looking to explore...
Stupid.
I agree. But if they're looking to explore new genres and they're going back to the same things that they've already had and resting on their laurels, it doesn't make any sense to me. None at all.
Well, to be fair, I mean, Call of Duty announced as an online pro circuit, it was there last year with Call of Duty 4, and I kind of had a feeling it would be for this game too, even though this game is god-awful compared to the other one. It's just, why add all this stuff when, honestly, I don't see people traveling across the country to go play these certain titles.
Yeah, I think you've got a good point here, right? When you want to deconstruct the letter that they sent out, it says, as for the news you've all been waiting for, I am very disappointed to say that Gears of War 2 will not return to the MLG Pro Circuit for another season. This was a very difficult decision to make for the league since the Gears franchise has been with the MLG for so long. There has been a constant state of discussion. I mean, this is like loaded with crap. There's been a constant state of discussion, which whatever that means, within the company over the past few months on this topic. Gears of War had many high points in its tenure with the league. However, we faced obstacles that we ultimately were not able to overcome. All right, so now, according to them, they had obstacles they couldn't overcome. Here we go. A number of factors played into this decision. I know, they must have been those obstacles you referred to before, including audience numbers. Okay, let's analyze audience numbers, because I am not expecting Tekken to fucking rock the house. I'm going to tell you that right now. But that's fine, because sign me up to stand in line to watch people play Tekken, but you know what? What do I know? The gameplay itself, yeah. And you're just proud of Modern Warfare 2 Online? Okay. And our developer relationship with Epic. Hey, you didn't have one. Epic didn't care about you. They weren't going to give you anything. They weren't going to play ball with you. And the reason they weren't going to play ball with you is because Major League Gaming does not do business-to-business communication very well. In short,
nope.
It is not Epic or the audience or the gameplay.
I would like to go back to the audience. Can you really expect people to come watch? I mean, the game is awesome to watch, don't get me wrong. But can you expect them to go watch with 2 benches, no chairs, and you have, like you said in a previous episode, MLG refs taking chairs from parents so they can go sit down and watch or record the game, make sure they write it down correctly.
They can go ref another match. That's what they did. They'd take chairs from parents to go ref another match. Like, sweet deal.
You can't expect audience members and, a big following of people without having, I don't know, maybe a huge main stage section where there's like 8 different sections of bleachers like Halo had.
And strobe lights and a sweet announcer that says lock it up.
You honestly didn't see a lot of people just watching from standing for a while. You had maybe players who got out just watching, and then they wouldn't return the next day.
For Major League Gaming, who claims to be the authority on competitive gaming in the United States, right, the authority, well, guess what? If you're the authority, then people, your audience, are going to examine how you treat and relate to the various communities surrounding a title. And everybody understands Halo is a mainstream of Major League Gaming. That is understandable. It is a wise choice. No one questions it. It's a great game. All that's good. But when everything else kind of gets stuck in the back corner, or you can't give parents seats for Gears, I don't think audience numbers is exactly the right thing to attack, to be honest. But that's not where this ends. Here's what they say. I think it was really awesome how the community and certain pros rallied around the game. You guys are all great competitors and great partners to have. I've thoroughly enjoyed working with each of you over the past years. I would like to thank all of you for competing with MLG and hope you can continue competing with us in some other way. Yeah, I tell you how I'd like to compete with you. Give me $42.5 million, and I'll show you how to run a league. That's how I'll compete with you.
Pretty much.
I've developed good relationships with many of you guys and know how much you guys care about competitive gaming. Now, here's the key. MLG is growing and spreading the focus around. Terrible English, by the way. MLG is growing and spreading the focus around to other games. To other genres. But at the same time, getting more efficient with each genre. More efficient? So let me make sure I understand this. The efficiency? What efficiency are you talking about? That you have a combine now for Halo? That's efficiency? Whoever pens this, if this is Ray, right, whoever from Major League Gaming, send them back to school. Basic vocabulary. Growing, spreading the focus, more efficient, crappy writing. Now, stay tuned for additional league announcements pertaining to this season, set to be announced today.
Do you honestly think after that?
They found out that Gears of War was dropped for Tekken and Super Smash Bros. Melee. But hey, that's fine. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions about any of this. My door is always open for you guys. Again, thank you all for your understanding. Well, you know what? I don't understand. And not only do I not understand, I really think that this whole email that they sent the Gears of War Pro players was laden with crap. But you know what? This is to all you Gears of War Pro players out there. Good for you. Many of you thought that Major League Gaming would be watch your back. Many of you were like, oh, I'm going to get a contract. I remember when Infinity thought it. I remember when Frag Dominant tried to bullshit Vision with it. And I remember when the Insane started believing their own hype and thought that they would get a contract. Well, here's your contract for Major League Gaming. Congratulations, you win. Fail.
Fail.
But, you just kind of have to get over it. Like, I think this is good, though, because this leaves the door open for other leagues or potential leagues to kind of grow and make maybe Gears as their main title. Because obviously they're not going to be able to play Halo 3. And then, grow from there. When
we talk about something like that, the problem that we have is, for VV Gaming, I'm going to be honest, it's really a great opportunity. We get to interact with the Tekken community. They also announced that they're going to be looking at Street Fighter 4. They also announced the Wii platform in Super Smash Bros. Melee. This gives us incentive, purpose, goals to go out and interact with communities that VV Gaming has normally not brought its brand identity. So the best thing is, as MLG expands its brand identity, so does VV Gaming. So from a business perspective, I don't think it hurts VV Gaming at all.
No.
Right? I think it's actually good for us. And that's with sad heart to the fact that it's at the expense of what I believe to be a great title and a great series in Gears of War.
Oh, hey, Gears of War 3 is right around the corner. Who knows? We might see it next year.
I think it's going to be tough because, and I believe this is the same thing that's going to happen with Super Smash Bros. Melee. When you pull it off the circuit and put it back on, you lose the continuous skill and the development of players, and so competition goes down a notch. So, instead of having this vibrant Gears of War community that keeps passing on knowledge, bringing in new players, grooming new players, you basically create this gap. It's kind of like when people leave school and then go back to school and they find it hard to go back to school.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. I think the same thing holds true here.
You're going to see a lot of people just kind of floating around out there like, oh, what do I do?
No, I see all these Gears kids going, oh, I'm going to be pro at Halo 3. Dude.
Good luck.
You're awful.
Love your hair, hope you win.
Good luck. Exactly. Like, they really think they're just going to switch from a third-person shooter to a first-person that they have barely ever played. Like, kids, you need to wake up. You're not going to do it. There's so many kids that have been playing this game for years now. Since Halo 1, you're not going to do it. So I would seriously think about it. You're probably 16 years old, having these thoughts go through your head. Just calm down, talk to your mother and father, listen to the podcast, and then seriously consider your options, because you're 16, stay in school, and sorry, but your shot at pro gaming has gone down the toilet. Thanks. Bye.
I am positive you will fail, and I am positive there is not a chance that you're going to go switch games. So to all of you out there right now that are dreaming to be Halo 3 pros, I've got some news for you. If you weren't good at Gears, Halo 3 is twice as hard because you have to work together as a team. And most of the Gears community, one thing that they didn't do very well is work together. So how you're magically going to take the fact that you couldn't get how to be on a team in years and walk over to Halo 3 and all of a sudden find the magic bullet, I don't think it's going to be so simple. But you know what the nice thing about sports is that somebody can always come around and surprise. So who knows? Maybe there will be a Gears of War player who does make the transition to Halo and actually break into the semi-pro, and who knows, maybe even go from there. But for a vast majority of these players, you're just going to be pursuing an empty pipe dream.
Infinity Ward fired their president and CTO.
Wasn't their chief technology officer?
Yeah, it is chief technology officer Jason West. And from what I saw on his Facebook, he was drinking and no longer employed.
Yeah, it was on his LinkedIn.
From what I've heard, Activision has new plans for the Call of Duty series because of all this. It looks like Jason West has moved over to Activision to form a dedicated Call of Duty business unit.
Yeah.
So all you Modern Warfare 2 fanboys and stuff, well, sorry.
We tried. I did my best.
I honestly,
did my best.
I can't wait to hear what actually happened in this, because you don't just fire your CTO like overnight after Modern Warfare 2 had all these sales and everything.
I don't know if there was something that somebody else at Infinity Ward brought up to Activision, and then Activision came down and brought down the hammer and said, you know what, this isn't going to work. But for those of you out there that are wondering how it affects your gameplay, probably not at all. This is more of a trivia piece.
It says that Infinity Ward will no longer be developing any more Call of Duty games, though. They will still make their 2 downloadable map packs scheduled for release this year, and that's it. And then they're done. Treyarch's obviously coming out with their next Call of Duty game this fall, and then they're done. And then from now on, they're going to have a developer to be announced making a game in 2011, probably in a game every year from then on.
Here is a little bit of speculation on my part, and take it just as that. This is just speculation. But in the past, Activision, well, they're not even just in the past. They still are like this. When they have a winning formula in their mind, they like to stick to it. That's what happened with Guitar Hero when Harmonix wanted to break away, when they did break away, because they went over and did the Rock Band thing, right? And Activision, of course, they said, oh, well, we like the fact that, Guitar Hero 2 is so successful, let's keep it that way. Let's do, they did Guitar Hero 3 like that, obviously, with a different developer, Neversoft. Perhaps, maybe the developers at Infinity Ward wanted to do something different with the Call of Duty series. They wanted to take it in a new direction, and Activision maybe said, that's not going to really work. And that might be where the alleged insubordination comes into play. It's only a possibility, but I see it as a very likely one.
I love how you relate everything to rhythm gaming and make it sound so much simpler. Like what you just said, I totally understood. I love you.
I love you too, Kelly.
Because the whole situation is very complicated. You have this person quitting or being fired, whatever. Now, what the F is going to happen? And then Jason just comes along. Poof. This is what's going to happen, Kelly. And I'm like, oh, thank you, Jason.
Thank you for clearing it up for us noobs.
It's like rhythm gaming is so much simpler to follow than shooters.
Something went horribly wrong on the inside, right?
Yeah.
And we don't know what it is. They're going to have a new Call of Duty series. It's going to come out in 2011, and they're giving it to Sledgehammer Games. And Sledgehammer Games is a newly formed, wholly owned studio of Activision. So, this is just to me like a little rebranding exercise here. I know that Glenn Schofield is the guy who had Sledgehammer with, he's the guy who did Dead Space. And I think this was all part of the plan, right? They gave that guy Dead Space, kind of like that inside project at EA over there. And then he fled the ship when I think they had a little bit of issue over there. And then all of a sudden, bam, now he's going to be given the next Call of Duty series under the title of Sledgehammer Games. So we'll see. We'll see what Sledgehammer does. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it couldn't get any worse.
Oh, man.
We're just really cruel to that game.
Well, when you hype up a game so much and then you just shove it in the dirt as far down as you can go.
You don't even have dedicated servers for PC gamers? I mean honestly.
I don't know who took a crap in their water fountain, but don't crap in mine.
That's kind of gross.
I want to talk about something so important, though, if we can, because I really do think I understand why Gears of War might have gotten dropped, and I think it's kind of a lot has to do with, and I mean this, there's not enough education going around in gaming. Now, normally when I do these podcasts, for everybody listening, I know you guys want my rants, and I'll give you a rant tonight. Don't worry. Before we get to the rant, I want you to kind of kick back for a second, and I want to give you a quick history lesson. There was a time in history when the country of Germany had the best tool and die industry on the planet. You can Google this if you don't know what the tool and die industry is. But the way they got to be the best was they partnered with universities, and people learned things together. This is like really important. So the key here is for us as VV Gaming to try to make sure that we teach players some things, teach them about the business side. Today I wrote an article in Geek to Me, which is called What Do Sponsors Look For in Players? I know everybody on the podcast has read it, and they've seen the video by a tennis player, but I basically broke it down to the 4 things that I see not happening in esports that players really need to learn about. But I'm going to start with you, Jason, if you can. And as somebody who is a player, I mean, let's face facts, we met through sponsorships for VV Gaming and stuff like that. What was your takeaway from the article? What did you like? And if you could cover the first point for me on being good, just not being good enough, so to speak, that would be fantastic. And then we'll go around to Kelly and Ryan, because I like to get all of your inputs on this, because all of you at some point or the other have either attempted to get sponsorships or try to be sponsored, and you guys talk about this.
I've done the newbie moves of trying to find sponsorships with that, just in hopes of being able to go for free somewhere. I've done that. I'm not an idiot.
There you go.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm the perfect person to talk about this because, frankly, just being good isn't enough. When I was playing rhythm gaming in a way that I wanted to play professionally, let's be honest here. While I might have had a good run, at one point I was ranked in the top 10 in the world according to ScoreHero.com, there were always people out there that were better than me. And in all aspects of life, no matter what you're doing, there's always going to be someone better than you. No matter what that situation is, let's say you're playing shuffleboard, there's always going to be a better shuffleboard player. You have to be able to offer a little bit more than that, and that's what this article touches on. You can't just be a good player at the game that you play. You need to be able to basically sell what we do as an organization, give that community experience that we have to the people out there and expand us, market us. That's one thing that helped me get into VVV. When I interviewed with Jerry, it was funny because Perilous here, Ryan, was the person who found me. One of the things that I touched on was, hey, I have a degree in marketing and I understood how to get the brand out there. And I think that's one of the reasons that I was brought into VVV as fast as I was and put into a position of leadership. You can't just be good at a title anymore. You really have to give a little bit more. And that's something that all pro players, no matter what game you play, need to learn.
Sometimes I have people who come to me and go, I don't think Mrs. Violence is that good at a game. And I'll say, you know what? And I tell them sometimes, I said, Kelly is so good for VVV and gaming on so many levels. You just don't understand it yet. It's not like she's some fat, tub of lard shit woman who's half man and violates any sense of femininity, sits in the corner with the hairy back and grunts and groans every time she plays Call of Duty. That's not marketable, okay?
Oh, my God.
I want to be clear to everybody. You can't sell that.
I agree. Because the last thing I would want to buy from a gamer is a hot dog in their nasty, sweaty hand. And that's just something that, people don't really understand is you have to be marketable. You have to be sociable. You have to have a personality. No one really wants that dead person just standing there handing stuff out or talking to interviewers about their products, all that stuff like that. And then even while you're playing, they want someone who has charisma. I've been doing this for so long. It's just like a second nature to me. I love what this is. And I think that he totally nails the head on how we can market gamers. And in this article, Jerry, you totally hit the head on be marketable. That entire section is like flawless and people just need to see it more and they need to understand it more.
And and you guys, anybody who's been listening to the show knows, I call it out. Ballpark Franks, Doritos, Dr. Pepper, and Hot Pockets. Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like what parent's going to be like, I want my kid to look like a piglet on the couch with the controller, right? That exact stereotype, here, have some sugary Dr. Pepper. Now, listen, I understand. I totally understand that Major League Gaming, $42.5 million, they have to make money, and they're not in a position to be moral. They're in a position to have to make business decisions. But in the long term, I don't think it's going to work. Let me call it on the show right here. Don't team with pigs. Right?
Exactly.
right? If you want to be a top team, no one's going to want somebody who's got to take 2 seats on the airplane and sit there and watch them play, right? It just doesn't work that way. And I am not saying that someone who is slightly overweight is a problem. That is not what I'm saying. There are people who by genetics are going to be slightly overweight. There are people who have medical conditions that they're slightly overweight. And those people are generally legitimately trying to take care of themselves the best they can. But when you are 16 and have no medical problems and you're sitting on the couch stuffing yourself with Hot Pockets, sugary Dr. Pepper, 2 double ballpark Franks, it's not working for me. And
throw
then
some
get
cheese
a little
on
punch on with Doritos, I don't think so. The first time you walk a parent into an event and you see these 4XL shirts running around on kids, yeah, parents are going to be, I want my son to look like that cow sitting over there.
Exactly.
Because what do parents want? Parents want their children to be socially accepted. They want them to be bright and engaged. When you're popping Dr. Pepper and Doritos all the time and you've got your ass sitting on the couch, that's not exactly the image most people want to have of what it is to be a professional gamer, a competitor, or let alone a gamer himself. Or herself. It just doesn't come that way.
Exactly. And I really think some organizations, I'm going to say it, Team Foxy has really nailed the head on like marketing females. They do a great job with their image. Image is like perfect, you know, like even the Astro Girls are fine. They all have charisma. Like the Astro Girls aren't just pretty faces. They're actually like really, really nice and really funny and really outgoing girls. And same with Team Foxy, you know, and they keep up the female image in gaming. And I think males just don't think they need to do that. They're like, oh, we got females just running around doing it. No, guys need to be pretty as well. And we don't want to see fat lards running around the event.
Whenever I talk to someone for the first time that doesn't know gaming very well, and I tell them what I do with VVV, and I tell them about my past of playing on a bigger stage, you know, national tournaments, things like that, almost always, I'm going to say 90% of the time, I get a response back of a puzzled look. They tilt their head to the side and they say, but you don't look like a typical gamer. It's a horrible stereotype that we need to make sure is broken. People need to be marketable. And, you know, it's not that hard to put down the controller from Heavy Rain or whatever game you're playing, go outside, run for 15 minutes, and, you know, eat a little healthier. If you do...
I'll even go walk.
Exactly, you know, push the control stick forward in real life.
That's the nerdiest thing I've ever heard. I think that should be a t-shirt. Like instead of putting one foot in front of the other,
push the controller
in front of the other. No, that didn't work, did it? All right, so
it should be 2 feet walking and then caption, put the controller down.
Yeah, put the controller down. And Ryan, what do you think? You were talking about the business earlier. You know, we ask a lot of, I don't know, you got to know, how can you sell VVV if you don't know it? You know what I'm saying, Ryan?
I completely understand. Like, you'll see these kids come in and be like, oh, we'll bring VVV known to everything over here. And then they don't really, you know, do their research on, like, whether we're there or not, you know. They just haven't heard about it, I guess, or they haven't seen it when they look there every now and then. Now, when you're trying to become sponsored by someone, you got to know what they're about. You got to, you know, research into everything you can about them. You don't see people doing that, and it's sad. I do know when people ask us for sponsorships, we ask them a few questions. You know, do you know our accomplishments, our culture, the fact that we write articles? Do you listen to the podcast? You know, are you a fan of our Facebook page? Subscribe to YouTube channels? Whatever. Follow us on Twitter. It doesn't matter. You need to know these things and know everything about what you're trying to get into, and if you actually want to be a part of that. I mean, another thing is you need to know who sponsors us. You got to know, you know, the products of the sponsors. You can't just like know that, oh, hey, yeah, SteelSeries sponsors them. What do they make? Have they come out with anything cool that maybe you would want or need? You just got to know these things.
Yep, absolutely. When somebody comes to me and says, yeah, dude, I hear you're sponsored by SteelSeries, I'm like, yeah, what do you have by SteelSeries? They're like, well, then and then they're talking to just that, and you're like, what's wrong with you? And this is the problem, is that, and I don't think gamers get this, because a lot of them, they're not really professional gamers. No. They're just kids who want to game a lot. And then all of a sudden it's like they got to do all this work, and then it's like, oh no, you know, I was going to just sit here and eat my Hot Pockets and be okay. You know, that's too much work for me.
Pass the Doritos.
Well,
exactly.
The kids just don't realize that, you know, you actually have to do something to earn money to go get paid to go do these things.
Yeah, well, like I said, look, we don't do this because a staff's ego rests. Like, we're not like Uncle Woody's Clan, and then, it's not like it's Vinny from Mob and Jonathan from Pure Talent. They're sitting there going, my team's better than yours. But I don't give a shit whose team's better than who. Right? I don't care about who won or lost. If you've got 500-pound teams sitting there on their fat ass, for a single-player game, and that's team, right? You got a problem right there. You know what I'm saying?
Look, they may have more kills than me, but they have more kills in real life, too. They've killed so many chairs. Holy shit.
Here is why I wrote the article, and here's what I want to say to anybody out there who's interested in competitive gaming. Gaming will not become competitive unless there is a community of fans to support the game. Here at VVV Gaming, all of the people that come to our site, all 20,000 of you that visit our site every month, this message is to you. You must play the games you are passionate about. You must spread the word about the games that you are passionate about. You must learn to use MySpace, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. If you are not interested in doing the work, it will take longer for the word to spread. If you have noticed, VVV Gaming has tried very hard to reach out to you, to give you hints, to tell you how to become a pro gamer. We have written 26 articles in the Geek to Me blog. That is 26 weeks worth of work. We are doing these podcasts, and we are promoting them to everyone we know. If you hear my voice, I'm going to tell you how you can get on our show. I am going to offer you the Rage Contest. You get off your fat ass, and you go and you market VV Gaming, the podcast, everything. And then you come and show us links to all the places you spoke about VV Gaming. Show us the work you're doing. And you have 14 days to do it from the day you heard the podcast. 14 days. So you have some time until my birthday around the 17th of March to get your act together and show us something worthy of putting you on this podcast show. Because I get everybody who always comes and tells me the same thing. Oh, Lord Jarrett, you should get me on your show. Why? Who the heck are you? Be the person who markets VV Gaming. Be the person who's out there and retweets our tweets on Twitter. Be the person who subscribes to our YouTube channel and rates all of our videos. Be the person who comments on our bulletins and sends out the word about VV Gaming. Be the person who represents VV Gaming in their signatures on all the forums they're on. Be the person who does reviews of SteelSeries products. Be the person who donates to VV Gaming and encourages others to give to help us continue to select and sponsor good talent. That's how you get on the podcast. And if that's too much work for you, then take one long look in the mirror and realize esports is not going to grow unless you do something to help it grow. You may not have missed that lesson in civics class, but the only way for anything to get done is for the people who know about it and passionate about it to take action. Otherwise, it's going to be no more Gears of War, and eventually many other games you like will never have any tournaments for it. No one will follow it, and no one will care about it. Take action, spread the word, and in 14 days, the person who comes to this podcast staff showing us that they understand how to market VV Gaming the way we work hard every day to make sure that every gamer who comes to VV Gaming gets an education, is entertained, and has the tools to help them dominate. So do I hope that you, as a listener that wants to get on this show, take a little bit of time out of your day and promote VV Gaming and our sponsors and our articles and our social networking sites and this podcast.
Everyone make sure to tune in next week. Paul Brewer will be on our show. We will be discussing all of the WCG titles that are getting announced. I'm pretty excited about it. Who knows? Maybe we can get some comparison for what MLG is doing versus what WCG is doing. Maybe get some opinion from Paul Brewer on how he thinks the two titles from the different companies match up. That would be pretty cool.
TV.
Yes. Check in here to hear it. Yes, that. Also, big thanks to Garage for helping us put on this show. We love them. They love you. Give us reviews on iTunes. That'd be amazing. We also would like to thank all of VVV's sponsors, SteelSeries, Control Freak, Custom Ink. Anybody that comes to the community, we love you as well. Thanks for listening to us. And please, like Jerry was just saying, market it. Show us to the world. And who knows, maybe we'll see you here on the podcast in a couple episodes from now.
Yeah.
So be sure to stop over at thegamersgarage.com where you find out all the ways to follow us, including, hey, look at this, Facebook, MySpace, and Twitter. And you can leave us feedback by calling our voicemail at 206-350-7352, or you can email us at mailbag, that's MAILBAG, at thegamersgarage.com.
Have a good week, guys.